Mr. President, I move to resume consideration of House Bill 5160 under Committee Report 221. Any objection? Hearing none, approved. President, this is the measure on the charter of the city of Santo Tomas. Parliamentary status of the measure is that we're not the period of interpellation, so I move to recognize sponsor of the measure, the chairman of the Committee on Local Government, Senator Sari Angara. Senator Angara is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Majority Leader, there are no members who have registered for interpellations.
In that case, I move to close the period of interpellation, Mr. President. Senator Sabiri?
Manifestation?
Yes.
Just a manifestation if the good sponsor will allow the members here as co-authors.
Of course, it would be an honor. It would be an honor, Mr.
Yes.
President. Thank you.
Sto Tomas Batangas, City of Santo Tomas.
Not Santo Tomas of Senator Joel.
Congratulations.
This is, Mr. Sponsor, this is the charter now, right, of the
But
city?
you have to ask the Majority Leader because it has a very special place in his heart, being his wedding place. So we must ask his permission first, Mr. President.
I concur, Mr. President. This measure becomes the charter of the city if it becomes law.
Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you. So there are no more interpellations. I move to close the period of interpellation, Mr. President. Any objection? Hearing none, approved. Open the period of committee amendments, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. President. Before I go to the
Open.
before the committee amendments, I think Senators Aquino and Hontiveros have also asked to be made co-authors, Mr. President. Just for the record.
Majority Leader, we use the term co-sponsors because this being a House bill. Co-sponsors instead of co-authors. This is a House bill. Sponsors. May we place on record the names of the co-sponsors, Mr. President? The sponsor is Senator Angara. The co-sponsors are Senator Soto, Drilon, Pimentel,
Villanueva, Ejercito,
Villanueva, Chubiri, and Lacson, and then the two
Aquino and Hontiveros.
Okay, let it be off record.
Mr. President, for the committee amendments, they are being flashed on the screen. They're also part of the committee report, Mr. President. The first is on page 2, line 16, to delete the preposition in, and in lieu thereof insert the phrase under Republic Act 7160, otherwise known. Is that a title? Is that a title? That's a title that should be lost. Number 1, is that the title?
Saan ang lo? Pati
Number 1, number 3. That should be lost. I withdraw the amendment, Mr. President, because that's in the title. I'll read that last.
Thank you.
Title ba yun? Yung first? Is that the title? Mr. President, I stand corrected. I would like to read the First Amendment. On page 2, line 16, to delete the preposition in, and in lieu thereof insert the phrase under Republic Act 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991, comma, as amended. So move.
Any objection?
Mr. President, on page 4, line 21, delete the word day, and in lieu thereof insert the word date. So move.
Any objection?
Mr. President, on page 5, line 7, after the word year, insert the phrase immediately preceding the day of the. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 8, to delete the words prior to. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page and line, after the word qualified, to insert the word registered. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 18, to delete the word herein, and in lieu thereof insert the phrase under the Local Government Code of 1991 as amended, this act and other laws. So move.
Any objection?
On page 6, line 12, after the conjunction for, to insert the phrase under the Local Government Code of 1991 as amended, and so move, Mr. President.
Any objection?
8th, on the same page and line, after the word appointment, to insert the subjective pronoun he or she. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 13, after the word authorized, to delete the phrase under other, and in lieu thereof insert the preposition by. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection?
On the same page and line, after the word laws, to insert the phrase to appoint. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 23, Mr. President, after the preposition the, to delete the word office and in lieu thereof insert the word City Hall. So move.
Any objection?
On page 7, line 15, after the word appointed, to insert the pronoun by him or her. So move.
Any objection?
On page 8, line 23, after the word national, to insert the phrase and provincial, Mr. President.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 24, after the word city, to insert the phrase at such time and place and. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 29, after the word within, to delete the article the, and in lieu thereof insert the pronoun his or her. So move.
Any objection?
On page 9, line 4, after the word over, to insert the word local. So move.
Any objection?
Thank you, Mr. President. On the same page, line 11, after the word revenues, to insert the phrase and apply the same to. So move.
Any objection?
On page 10, line 22, after the word out, to delete the phrase as far as practicable. So move.
Objection?
On the same page, line 24, after the word city, insert the phrase and of the province. So move.
On page
24, same page, that's page 10, line 24, Mr.
924,
President.
okay. Yes, any objection? Hearing none, approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. On page 11, line 20, after the word vacancy, to insert the phrase as provided for under the Local Government Code of 1991, as amended. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 22, after the word vacancy, insert the phrase as provided for under the Local Government Code of 1991, as amended. So
Any
move.
objection?
On page 13, line 18, Mr. President, after the word environment, to delete the word including, and in lieu thereof, insert the phrase such as dynamite fishing and other forms of destructive fishing. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 20, page 13, after the conjunction and, insert the phrase such other. So move. Page 13, line 20, Mr. President.
There are two ands there.
Is it the first hand or the second hand? It's the second hand, Mr.
Okay,
President.
so with that clarification, any objection?
On page 14, line 21, Mr. President, after the word city, to insert the phrase as provided for under the Local Government Code of 1991 as amended. So
Any objection?
on page 17, line 7, after the pronoun which, to insert the words the same. So move.
Any objection?
On page 19, line 9, after the word of, to insert the phrase communal forests and watersheds. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, page 19, line 17, after the word life, insert the phrase and seashore or offshore activities. So move.
Any objection?
On page 21, line 17, to delete the word said. So move.
Any objection?
On page 23, line 5, after the word interests, insert the phrase such disclosure shall also include. So move.
Any objection?
Thank you, Mr. President. On the same page, line 8, after the word sanggunian, insert the phrase of which he or she is a member. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 11, after the pronoun which, to delete the phrase a proposed. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page and line, after the word resolution, to delete the phrase under consideration. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 12, after the relative pronoun which, delete the phrase a proposed. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, Mr. President, line 13, after the word resolution, to delete the phrase under consideration. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 18, after the word may, to insert the phrase tend to. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 22, Mr. President, after the word of, to insert the phrase which he or she is a member. So move.
There are two ofs. Mr. Sponsor. What page is this page?
This is page 23, Mr. President.
Yes, 23, line 22.
Yes. It's the second of, Mr.
The
President.
second of, okay.
Yes.
Any objection?
Next, Mr. President, on page 25, line 14, after the word same, to delete the article the, and in lieu thereof insert the pronoun his or her.
Any objection?
Likewise, on page 25, Mr. President, line 15, after the word vetoed, to insert the phrase and return the same with his or her. So move.
Any objection?
On page 26, line 5, to insert the word enacted and insert letters RE. Insert the letters RE. So move, Mr. President.
It becomes reenacted. That's the effect, Mr. Sponsor. Okay.
Yes, Mr.
Yes,
President.
any objection? Approved.
On the same page, page 26, Mr. President, line 21, after the word of, to insert the pronoun his or her. So
Any
moved.
objection?
On the same page, line 26, to delete the word concerned. So move.
Any objection?
On page 27, line 7, after the word law, to delete the conjunction or, and in lieu thereof insert the conjunction and. So move.
Any objection?
On page 28, to delete lines 8 to 14, and in lieu thereof, Mr. President, to insert the following. Letter C, ordinances with penal sanction shall be posted at prominent places in City Hall for a minimum period of 3 consecutive weeks. Such ordinances shall also be published in a newspaper of general circulation within the city. So move, Mr.
Any
President.
objection?
On same page, page 28, line 17, after the word elective, to delete the word public. So move.
Any objection?
On page 29, line 13, after the word defined, to delete the word herein, and in lieu thereof insert the phrase under the Local Government Code of 1991 as amended.
Any objection?
Thank you, Mr. President. On page 30, line 9, after the word elected, to insert the following, and whose elevation to the position next higher in rank created the last vacancy in the Sangguniang. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, page 30, line 27, after the word duties, to insert the pronoun his or her. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 28, after the word reasons, delete the word including, and in lieu thereof insert the phrase such as but not limited to. So move.
Any objection?
On page 31, Mr. President, line 11, after the article the, to delete the word city mayor, and in lieu thereof insert the phrase he or she.
Any objection?
On page 32, line 10, after the preposition with, to delete the word once, and in lieu thereof insert the pronoun his or her. So move.
Any objection?
Mr. President, on page 32, to delete lines 17 to 20 and renumber the succeeding subparagraph. So move.
We are deleting subparagraph 4 in effect. So, any objection? Approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. On page 33, line 18, after the word efforts, to delete the word of, and in lieu thereof insert the preposition in. So move.
Any objection?
On page 34, line 7, after the word entrusted, insert the phrase to him or her. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 23, after the word years, to put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. So move.
Any objection?
On page 35, line 2, to delete the letter E from the word evaluation. It will read valuation.
It will read valuation.
Yes.
Any objection?
Thank you, Mr. President. On the same page, line 24, after the word assessment, to insert the following. Appeals whenever his or her assessment is subject of the appeal and present or submit any information or record in his or her possession as may be required by the board. So move.
Any objection? Approved.
Anong number na tayo? Mr. President, on page 36, line 4, after the word years, put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment.
Any objection?
Thank you, Mr. President. On page 37, line 8, to insert subparagraph D to read as follows. The incumbent chief accountant in the office of the treasurer shall be given preference in the appointment to the position of accountant. So move.
Any objection? Approved.
Mr. President, on the same page, page 37, line 14, after the word years, to put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. So move.
Any objection?
On page 38, line 13, Mr. President, after the word years, to put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. So move.
Any objection?
Mr. President, on page 40, line 8, after the word years, put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. So move.
It's page 40 already. Okay, sir. Any?
Mr. President, I think I forgot the previous amendment. I skipped one line. So may I withdraw that and move?
Yes, withdrawn.
Yes, page 39, line 14. After the word years, put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. I so move. Mr.
Any
President.
objection? Hearing none. Approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Page 40, line 8. It's the same amendment. After the word years, to put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment.
Any objection?
Same amendment on page 42, line 3. After the word years, Mr. President, to put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment.
Any objection?
On the same page 42, line 8, after the article the, to delete the words Omnibus Election Code and in lieu thereof insert the phrase Civil Code. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 25, after article the, to delete the word city. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page and line, this is page 42, Mr. President, after the word registrar, to insert the hyphen mark and word general. So move.
What page are we in, sir?
That's page 42, Mr. President. Line 25, Mr. President.
So it will become Registrar General. Any objection? Approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. On page 43, line 17, after the word years, to put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. So move.
Any objection? Approved.
On page 44, line 2, to delete the phrase local government units and in lieu thereof insert the word city. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 3, after the word purpose, insert the phrase he or she may. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 23, after the word years, put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment, Mr. President.
Any objection?
Mr. President, I beg the indulgence of our colleagues as the last page. On page 45, line 12, after the article the, to delete the words local government units and in lieu thereof insert the word city. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, page 45, line 28, after the word any, to insert the word public. So move.
Any objection?
On page 46, line 7, after the word review, to delete the word ordinances. So move.
Page 46.
46, page 46, Mr. President.
After the word
review, to delete the word ordinances.
Okay. Thank you. Any objection?
On the same page, 46, line 20, after the words social work, to insert the word sociology, Mr. President.
Social work, okay. At the end of the line. Any objection? Approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. On page 47, line 16, after the word mayor, to delete the phrase as the case may be. So move.
Any objection?
Same page, line 23, after the word support, insert the word youth.
Any objection?
On page 48, line 14, Mr. President, after the word years, put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. So move.
Any objection?
Same amendment on page 49, line 26, after the word years, to put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. So move.
Any objection?
On page 51, line 3, Mr. President, after the word structure, to insert the phrase and the orderly and sanitary clearing up of waste. So move.
Any objection?
Likewise, on page 51, line 17, after the word years, to put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. So move.
Any objection?
On page 53, line 4, after the word years, to put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. So move.
Any objection?
Same amendment on page 54, line 17, after the word years, to put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. So move.
Any objection?
On the same page, line 21, to insert subparagraph C to read as follows: the term of the city the city information officer is coterminous with that of his or her appointing authority. So move. That's page 54, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Any objection? Approved.
Mr. President, on page 55, line 14, after the word casualties, to insert the phrase during and. So move.
Any objection?
Likewise, on page 55, line 28, Mr. President, after the word years, to put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. So move.
Any objection?
Same amendment on page 57, line 11, after the word years, to put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment, Mr. President.
Any objection?
Same amendment on page 58, line 15, after the word years, put a punctuation mark period and delete the phrase immediately preceding the date of appointment. So move.
Any objection?
On page 60, line 15, after the conjunction or, to insert the phrase transfer to the National Penitentiary, comma, and / or. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection?
On page 62, to delete the word and figure 30, and in lieu thereof, insert the word and figure 90. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection?
There are no more committee amendments. We thank our colleagues for bearing with us, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, I move to close the period of committee amendments.
Any objection? Hearing none, approved.
Move to open the period of individual amendments, Mr. President.
Any objection?
There are no individual
The
amendments.
leader wishes to be recognized.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, in my years in the Senate, this is a bill which has over 90 amendments. The House prides itself as a chamber that works faster than the Senate, and is always criticized this chamber as a very slow-moving chamber. But if this is the kind of bill that we get, where the chairman of our committee has to toil through 90 amendments, and we have to stay here for over 1 hour listening to the amendments.
No wonder we have the slower house.
No wonder we are the slower house, because I cannot imagine how this kind of a bill can pass through the legislative bill in the House with 90 errors that has to be corrected in this chamber. I just want to make that manifestation of record. This validates the need for a bicameral Congress with the Senate voting separately, because we have to check on the quality of the bill that comes out of the chamber in the other house.
Number 19.
Which requires the work of our chairman working on 90 amendments on a single bill. Something a little unusual, Mr. President, but we are put on record our admiration for the chairman of the Committee on Local Governments for the patience that he exhibited in going through the bill and proposing 90 amendments. Buti ho, hindi naging 100.
So thank you, Mr. President. I thank the Minority Leader. I had good support from my staff, and it's a long bill, so...
That made the chairman a co-author.
Mr. President, the I concur with the manifestation of the minority leader. As a matter of fact, I have mentioned that to the media. We are the slower house, slow but sure. This is a manifestation, and I distinctly remember, just for the record, Mr. President, very briefly, when I was chairman of local governments in the 9th Congress, Congress then sent us a bill making Mandaluyong a city. That was the first cityhood that I sponsored as chairman of local government. During that time, there were only 4 cities in Metro Manila: Quezon City, Manila, Pasay, and Caloocan. All the rest were municipalities. The first one was Mandaluyong. And so I sponsored it. But during the period of interpellations and during my research, before the period of in amendments, I saw that there was a provision there asking for the preservation of mangroves. I was puzzled, and I was asking my staff, maghanap nga kayo ng mangroves sa Mandaluyong. So that is another example of how fast you can be, but haste makes waste, Mr. President. That is the case.
There were no mangroves.
No, of course not. It's all asphalt jungle, Mr. President.
But talking about mangrove, recently we also got a bill from the Senate naming, I'm sorry, from the House, naming an intersection and a junction. That's also the first time that I've seen that kind of a bill, that we name a corner of a street in the name, in honor of somebody. And the House admitted informally that indeed they failed to notice that. So again, that's the faster House really works faster, because they pass bills naming intersections and junctions. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, in line with the indulgence of our gentle, just a short anecdote on the bicameral system of government. When Thomas Jefferson was asked why there was a need for 2 houses to do the same work, he said that the cup, he compared the 2 houses to a cup and a saucer. And he said, the cup is the house, and whatever it spills, that is the saucer, and the Senate picks up what the House spills. That's from Thomas Jefferson, Mr. President.
With that, Mr. President, I move to close the period of individual amendments.
Any objection? Any none approved?
But because of the numerous amendments, it grieves my heart to tell the chairman of the Committee on Local Government that it is best that we have a clean copy before we approve it on second reading.
I agree with the Majority Leader, and we will ask that be produced.
May I have a 1 minute suspension?
Session suspended.
Mr. President, I stand corrected. I was just informed by the Secretariat, and the Minority Leader agrees. The committee amendments that were read were all in the committee report.
Yes, that's true.
So there's nothing new. Therefore, Mr. President, I move to approve on second reading House Bill 5160.
Okay. Any objection from the body? Hearing none, approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend consideration of House Bill 5160.
Thank you, Mr. President, Majority Leader, Minority Leader, and distinguished colleague.
Mr. President, I move that we adjourn the session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Monday, March 19, 2018.
Is there any objection? There being none, session is adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Monday, March 19, 2018.